So in this course, like all courses, watch it at 2 times speed, because when I animate, when I make these courses, sorry, I do not leave anything out, because you need I might do something that you could find important. I don't know what's important, what you need to see. So you can see A to Z exactly how I animate a blink and all the tricks you can do to keep it organic and fleshy and believable. And if you watch it at 2 times speed, then it's a quick watch. It's easy. You can get all the information and then put it in your own work. Or if you watch it at real time, it's about 20 minutes long. So check it out. For this course, we use Blue, one of our feature quality rigs at Lupin House. So if you want to get her to follow along, you can get her in the link below in the description. Otherwise, if you have any questions regarding the tutorial, just shoot me a message and I'll get back to you in the comments. So enjoy this course. Alright, so let's animate a blink. The first thing we need to do is reference our rig Blue. And then we can open the picker to make our lives a little bit easier. So we come to the custom shelf, depending where you saved it. And select it here, it's actually already open, my bad. And then recent picker. If you haven't already used it, you just have to go File, Open Picker, or Find and Load Picker, either one, and then just go to wherever you saved the picker. It should be in the folder with Blue anyway, so it should be the same folder. Okay, and then we need to just get the rig connected. So you'll see here currently it's not actually working. So you just select any control on the rig and then click Get Namespace, and now we have the same namespace as the rig, so we can use the picker as intended. Just turn on the textures so we can see, and I will also just change the lighting space to untoned so it's a bit brighter. So now we're ready to animate our blink. So animating a blink is really easy, and it should lift your work quality a little bit more if you don't know how to do a blink properly. So first thing we need to do is close our eyes, right? First part of the blink. Now a common mistake we see is this. People will close halfway and then they will grab the lower lids and then they will close halfway. I did it, everyone did it, but we don't blink halfway in our eye. The key is to be down here like this. See how it looks much more appealing? This is like super horizontal, super unappealing, and then this is just more accurate. So that's where we need to set our first key. So I'm going to move, I'm just going to do it, I'll do it here at the start. So on frame 4, I'm going to set a key on the controls on the lid, set a key, and then 2 frames before we're going to open. So on 2 frames down, 1, 2, and then for 2 frames we're going to do a compression. So just a little squish. See that? Just the tiniest move down. So it's just a little compression. And then we're going to open with 3. And actually, we'll put that over here on 14. So I always like move this opening key around. This is going to be our ears, but what I want to do is steal this key here. So I'm going to set it and then move the key here to 3. So this means it's like basically open. It's just got that tiny bit more, and that's going to create our ears. So we come to 3. So it opens quite quick, and then we have that soft ease out. Right. So if we press play, it's pretty nice. It's looking more organic. Versus if we look at a bad blink, I'm just going to steal this key, put it here, and then open this one here, put it here. So if we did this, and then I had this here like this, this is kind of what a bad blink looks like. See that? Good blink, bad blink. So now I've got a nice blink. I'll just show you an easier way to do that if you do have Animate. So you can just come here to the 3rd key and then click 90, which is this dot here. And if you click that, it will open 90%. Look, fatal error. Dang. Happens to the best of us. let's just start again. I'll just pause the recording while I get back to where we were. Alright, so we're here where we were, so I just animated the blink, and we've got the close and the compression. So the next thing that we need to do is add in the open. So what I was saying is, if you use Animate, you can 1, 2, 3, come here and then click the 90, and then that'll, so annoying. This always happens. Hit 90. Oh, my bad. We need to have, it needs to be 90% of the next key, so it actually needs to be open first. So you can open it fully and then come here and then hit 90 here, and it will open 90% of the way, and then have that nice ease. So now we've got that nice ease where we left off. Right, 2 down, 1, 2, 3, and then ease out. So I'm going to, this is a little bit slow for me, so I'm going to just take a bit more here. So it's there's judge it by your eye, right? If it looks a bit slow, then you can change it. So the 90% may be a little bit too little, so if this is 100, just going to turn it back a tiny bit to there. So now it's pretty much there, and we've got that ease. That's more my style, just a little slight ease. So that's cool. So I'm going to save this now as blink, so if it crashes, we can come back to here. So now we've got our blink and it looks pretty nice. So how can we make it nicer? Well, we have to remember that everything is connected when it comes to a blink. So we can connect the rest of the face of blue. So we've got a few controls here. If we turn them on, why can't we get them? There we are. So we've got these ones here, and these control the inside of the eye, right? So we can select the eye ring to do the whole lot. So instead of just doing one at a time, we can select the whole thing. So we'll select the eye ring and we'll do the same animation here. So when it comes down, move it a little bit, and when it comes up, we set it back to 0. And this can be offset a little bit as well. It doesn't have to be the exact same timing as the blink. Right? That looks nicer, and we can do the same thing with the cheek. Bring the cheek up. Set. 0. And then come to the other frames here. I think it was 14. Set it to 0. So you can be loose, right? You can match it up on the exact keys if you want, but you don't have to. But you do need to have that 90%, as you can see here at the end, it's kind of moving a bit dodgy. So by here, I want it to be at least 90% for this one. And you see here, we've got the nice compression. And then it opens. Right, so that's cool. Now what else can we do? We can move the eyebrows a little bit. Now a common mistake is, I think a lot of people, once they learn that you're supposed to connect the eyebrows with a blink, they will go really hard. And so like when the blink is down here, the eyebrows come down to here, you know, and then back up like that. So it's like a real strong, but when we blink, we don't blink like this, right? And so it's nice to connect them, but let's just keep it like modest. Right, let's do the tiniest bit, something like that. And then we have the compression here, so I'm going to copy the key and then move it down slightly more. And then when it opens here, I'm going to move this key by using the nudge, and that will snap it to there. And then I'm going to do 90. and then let it ease. Alright, and then we have some other things that we can do. I'm just going to quickly turn this to normal so I can select it and make it smooth, because it was giving me you can see the eyes, the rectangle. It's not nice. So we'll put it 3. Now we have nice circle eyes, beautiful blink. And then we have to think about the eyes. So the eyes are really interesting, right? Because we have them, but when we blink, they're not locked. They go down with the eye a little bit. So we come down here, we can start to move them down, maybe just a tiny bit. Maybe we can lead with the eye. Move them down a bit. Maybe we don't want to lead with the eye. And then when they're open, they come back up and they refocus, right? So when you do an eye dart, you have the key A and then key B, and this one is a 90%, so you just want to focus. See that? So we've got that little focus here, and then you want to lock back on your thing. So if you're looking at someone, right, you don't just open your eyes directly perfectly to where you want to look. You open and then you locate what you want to focus on. So that's what we're going to do here, just to keep it a bit more alive. Opens like that, and we can do another one here. Just experimenting, just some tiny ones just to keep it alive. I'll do one more. Might be too much. Probably should have just done one, but let's see. Yeah, it's too much. But I do like it. I just want to reduce the amount that it's happening. So if we open the graph editor, you can see this is it here. So with that selected, I'm just going to pull it down. So here. It just reduces it a whole bunch. Should be fine. And then the other thing is, the last bit of polish that we can do is on the eyes. We have the pupils, right? So when you are in the dark, your pupils shrink, and when they're in the light, they expand. The opposite. When you're in the dark, they expand, and when you're in the light, they shrink. So what we can do here is just emulate that. So when it's dark, they can be slightly bigger, 1.1 let's say. And then when you focus here, we can move them down to 0.9 let's say. And then here they can come back up to 1. So this is going a bit small, so 0.95. Way too small, so let's just go to 0.98. Maybe they're going too big, in fact, and that's the issue. 1.05. So you don't want it to like take away all the attention here. And you can put, this is just a default kind of thing to have in there, but you can put a lot more in there, a lot more research into it. So you can study eyes and see how they respond to light and do it. But just to do something by default without looking at any reference, that's a good generic kind of thing to keep in mind that you can do with your eyes. So that's how you can animate a nice fleshy blink. You can also lead with the brows, so we can add some offset in all of this. So if you want to lead with the brow a little bit, just move it 1 frame so everything happens a bit sooner. Just add some offset. So if we select everything, and then copy the keys, copy, and come here and paste them, we've got a nice blink. We just have to make sure that the aim here is the same. And then the last thing that we can do, probably before we copied it, is we just design the in-between frame. So you can see here we've got this one frame just here. Now the computer's doing that for us, right? It's going here and then it's going here. But let's design that a bit better. See that? That's like an appealing middle frame. So we're just going to put that there. And then when it opens, you can move it up a bit. Here we can do a bit more. It's a more appealing thing. Now, this is not going to be everything, right, on every rig, but you can see you have to animate to the rig that you have. So we're using blue here, and you can notice that when she blinks, everything is moving, except for her beak, right? So you can see it's very connected to her face, everything's moving, her beak looks really still. So I'm just going to add a tiny bit of animation into it, just to kind of connect it a little bit. And then bring it back down to 0. Right. Here we can do 90% again. And let it just ease off that last little bit. So we've got the corners, and that should be enough. I might just bring the jaw up, the whole mouth up a little bit. Just a tiny bit, like that. And then back down. Like that. So now the mouth is connected in the face, right? And so it looks like a fleshy organic blink, and everything looks really lovely. Now that's the blink, right? So let's say you're happy with that. You're done here. But we can say, what else can we do? What else can we do just for this little animation? And the answer could be not much. But there might be something. Let's have a look. Well, you could just basically put it into like a move, right? So she's a bird, right? So she's got like little moves here. So when she comes here, then she can look up. So you can put it in a movement. Like that. That's how you can do it in like a movement in a human character or a bird character, right? And we can obviously add the timer here. Add it in between. It's too much, so I'm just going to drag the middle key here. Don't like it, I'm going to delete it. I don't really like it, and that's because it's just generic. There's no need for it to kind of exist. But just know that that's how you can do it. I'm going to delete this because it will require some more fixing. It looks alright. But we need to do some eye stuff, right? That's the thing with animation. Everything is like, once you do this, you got to do that. Once you do that, you got to do this, and it's like a little. Everything has to make sense, right? So I'm just gonna do like, maybe she can be looking down here. this one. I need that one to be the same. Yeah, there's so much you could do. This is not the time. This is just the blink. So that's the default kind of blink. Obviously you can tweak it to be faster, slower, depending on the situation. But the key thing to remember is always have the blink kind of 80% or 90% on the down. Don't keep it in the middle. Make sure you connect the eye socket with the eye, and make sure that it's all fleshy, and that you focus with the eyes at the end to refocus on what you're looking at. And if you do those three things, your blinks will look really nice. And just connect the face where it makes sense. On this rig it made sense to add the beak, it makes sense to do the cheeks, but on a human character, depending how cartoony it is and the type of blink, it may not make as much sense to do that. So play it, you know, trust in what looks right, train your eye to see, and keep on animating. Hopefully this helps you out. Leave a comment in the comment section if you have any questions about this, or if there's anything that was not clear, and I will answer you. I'll see you in the next video. And again, if you want this rig, it's available for purchase in the description.